What's up, guys? It's Sports Blitz here, and we're back with another NFL mock draft. Before I get into it, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. We recently hit 1,600 subscribers, so if you could help me reach 1,700 now, that'd be awesome. So today we're gonna actually be doing 3 rounds. We're gonna be doing trades, and again, before any of the trades happen, I don't have the actual chart saying what the trade value should be for a lot of these. So there's going to be cases that you guys disagree with the value teams give or get in return. So just bear with me on that. I don't have the chart. If anybody does know where that is and wants to link it for me for future mock drafts, go right ahead. But I'm not. I don't have that today. So any of these trades, I'm kind of just guessing based off past trades we've seen. So for the Tennessee Titans, in this one, I'm gonna go ahead and have them keep the number 1 overall pick. I feel like that's the most likely here. I think they're gonna select Cam Ward. I think he's pretty easily, without any doubt, the best quarterback in this draft. And I don't think the Titans would want to risk passing up on him. So then for the Cleveland Browns, they're in kind of a similar situation, but with probably losing Myles Garrett. Now, I know several reports have come out saying, the Browns have stayed firm on no, they're not going to trade him. I think it's still going to happen. I mean, I don't know if Myles Garrett would hold out if he doesn't get traded, but there is always that type of risk for these type of situations. And really for that type of thing, really whether they trade him or not, I think Abdul Carter's got to be the pick. Because, I mean, even if they don't trade him, they get Abdul Carter to, go along with Myles Garrett. That's going to be a really, really good edge duo. So, pick 3 for the Giants. I'm trying to think here. Normally, right here, I would usually go either Tedero McMillan, Travis Hunter, or Shador Sanders. In some cases, I've even gone Will Campbell, but I'm trying to decide if any of these are worth, another team trading up for. I'm kind of intrigued by someone trading up. Okay, so that is what I'm going to do. I am going to actually have the Jaguars. So I was trying to say Jacksonville Jaguars and Jags at the same time, and it came out as Jaguars. Anyways, so let's go ahead and put this trade together. It's only 2 spots, so I don't think it's going to really require a whole lot. I think really the Jags could send the later of their 3rd round picks, and then the Giants could also return. Oh, this is saying that the Giants are giving too much, that that's not enough value from the Jags, which I disagree with. I think that alone would already be too much coming from the Jags. I mean, I think, honestly, if the Giants threw in a 5th, I think that'd be a really good trade. But this simulator is saying that the Jags aren't giving enough. So, look, we're gonna act as if this is the trade that goes through, okay? And then I'm just gonna throw in a future pick just to, make it happen for this simulator. Because, again, I don't really agree with how this simulator does some of the value for it. So, yeah, we're going to make that trade go through. Jags are on the clock. They're gonna take Mason Graham right here. I think for that sort of situation, I think they're a little worried that maybe the Patriots take Mason Graham. I mean, I really think Mason Graham's gonna end up being a top 5 pick. And really, like, there is a possibility that maybe the Patriots, you know, are a team that swoops in and takes him right there. So, for the Patriots, with Mason Graham off the board, I'm actually going to have the next trade actually happen here. And we're going to actually have the Raiders swoop in. Okay, so obviously the normal pick swap. I think for this one, we'll have the Raiders send. So this is also just a 2-pick difference, so it's not too crazy. So I'm gonna go ahead and have them send a 4th and a 6th. And I think that should be enough for this sort of thing. Because, again, like, it's not like they're trading up to the number 1 pick. It's not like they're trading up a lot of spots. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and have this trade go through. Once again, don't know exactly how realistic it is. But the Patriots would be smart to get a little bit more value here because there's still a good shot they're going to be able to get a really good player at that spot, so why not get some extra picks? So right here, I'm going to have the Raiders take Shedeur Sanders, and the reason that they traded up this time is because, well, they didn't think he was going to last past the Giants right here. So, Giants go ahead and, take that for what it is, and go ahead and take Will Campbell right here to protect whoever the quarterback does end up being. I don't know if it's going to be Matt Stafford or if they get a different quarterback in free agency. I feel like I've seen reports of them being connected to Sam Darnold. I don't know who it's going to be, but really, whoever it is, you got to have some protection for him. So, giving them Will Campbell. So then for the Patriots, here at 6, they're not going to try to go any further back. I think they're going to take that extra value for what it is and take Teteroa McMillan, which really, like I've said before, he's the guy that I really, really think they should go with at pick 4 anyways. I mean, he's really a really good prospect. I know a lot of other, I guess, mock draft people, I guess you could say. I'm not going to say scouts or anything like that. I know a lot of other people really aren't as high on McMillan as I am, but he really reminds me of, like, a Mike Evans sort of guy. I think he's going to be really good at high pointing the ball. He has really, really good catch radius. He's really fast. I think his route running will come in a little bit raw, so he'll need to improve the route running a little bit. But I think that's something he can definitely do. I mean, I've seen this guy's tape. He really just jumps out on tape, Like, he moves a lot faster than you'd think someone his size would, So I think getting Drake May, a real true wide receiver 1 right here, especially with, the rumors of, like, the Bengals probably franchise tagging T. Higgins and the Patriots probably not going to be able to get him. I mean, got to go with McMillan in that case. Then for the Jets, I think I'm going to go ahead and give them Travis Hunter. I definitely debated between him and Will Johnson. I'm going to go with Travis Hunter this time. I think it makes a lot of sense. you know. Because really, like, they don't need necessarily a number one corner because of Sauce Gardner, but Travis Hunter can still be an extremely solid number two corner. And really, on a lot of teams, he'd still probably be the number one guy. But where the Jets' offense also needs help, he can come in and help with that quite a bit. So, for the Panthers here, I'm going to make a move that I don't know if people are going to like or not, but I'm going to have Dallas try to come up. Before you guys say anything, no, it's not for Ashton Genty. I'm not going to make the trade up for Genty right here. Okay? It's for someone else. So, it's 4 spots. Little bit bigger of a deficit from earlier. So I think if Dallas gives pick 76, maybe the Panthers send back maybe the later of their 5th rounders. I think that's pretty realistic here. I think that sort of trade could work. So I'm going to send it through. Dallas is coming up. And they're going to get Will Johnson, an absolute beast at corner. Can pair along with Trayvon Diggs. And I know they have Deron Bland as well, but Bland is also kind of another one of those guys that, like, he kind of tends to give up a lot of yardage, but tries to make up for it with the interceptions. I think Will Johnson's going to be a lot more lockdown and really, really help that defense just truly become elite again, I mean, if you have Micah Parsons still in that pass rush, and then you have Johnson and Diggs, plus, I mean, Deron Bland, I would think could probably play, slot corner sort of thing too. I mean, that's gonna be a pretty dang good secondary too. I mean, that's gonna be a good defense as a whole. So I think really, considering all they had to give up is a 3rd rounder and they still recouped a 5th, that's pretty dang good for the Cowboys right there. So for the Saints, right here at pick 9, I'm going to go ahead and give them tight end Tyler Warren. I've kind of mocked him there the last few mock drafts, and I think it makes a lot of sense. They really need to just get like a true number 1 tight end for that offense, and really just help for the offense in general. Where they've got Kellen Moore now at head coach, I definitely see them wanting to shore up that offense and really give them the best chance possible to actually put up points. And I think Tyler Warren just makes a lot of sense for that. So, for the Chicago Bears here, let's see. I'm kind of thinking about Genty here because obviously Will Campbell isn't on the board. Because my question here is, do Bears fans rather have Kelvin Banks, the 2nd best tackle here, or Ashton Genty, the very clear best running back? Or maybe go in a situation that they could trade back and still get Genty. But my question there is, who wants to trade back? I've kind of got one in mind. I can already see the comments rolling in for it because a lot of people aren't going to like it. But I think it's a pretty sexy idea here. So I'm going to go ahead and have Atlanta actually come up with Chicago. Obviously the normal pick swap. This is 5 pick difference. So I'm going to go ahead and have Atlanta give a 4th and then a future... Would a future 4th be enough? No, we'll say future third. I think that's I think that's realistic enough. I mean, it's a 5 pick difference. Situation that Chicago's going to want more value because there's, some really good players right there that they don't want to pass up on. So we'll go ahead and send this through. Atlanta sends pick 117, and then next year's third. And then obviously the Bears just send pick 10. So Atlanta's coming up, and they're going to select Malachi Starks, safety out of Georgia. And again, I can already see so many angry Atlanta fans coming through. Let me explain. Guys, Malachi Starks is the best safety prospect I've seen since Derwin James. You pair him up with Jesse Bates back there, that defense is going to be. I mean, literally nobody's going to be able to pass on that defense, even with a struggling pass rush, which, I mean, they can still fix, in free agency, in other rounds of the draft. I mean, last year they made a super late trade for Matt Judon, and I think that was only a third round pick. Whereas the year before he was coming off what was it, like a 16 sack season or something crazy like that. I mean, they'll find ways to shore up other parts of the defense. Malachi Starks is an absolute beast, and I know people are going to say, why do you take a safety this high up in the draft? Because it's Malachi Starks. He is an absolute freak, and like I say, he's the best safety prospect I've seen since Derwin James. He really is. He's a better prospect, in my opinion, than Kyle Hamilton was. I mean, again, pairing him up with Jesse Bates is just beautiful. As a Panthers fan, I hate to see it, but trust me, if the Falcons did this, I'm sure Falcons fans would be pretty happy with it not too long into the season. Okay, for the 49ers, I'm going to go ahead and give them offensive tackle Kelvin Banks. Definitely just need help on that offensive line. That's kind of like their number one priority right now. I think that's a pretty easy pick. For the Carolina Panthers, right here at pick 12, they're going to go ahead and grab Jalen Walker out of Georgia. Again, one of my, really is my favorite player in the draft. Dude, just so versatile. Can blitz, really A gap or B gap. Can rush off the edge. Good run stopper. Plays with a high motor. Just a good player altogether. I think that helps that defense quite a bit. For the Miami Dolphins, they're kind of frustrated right now because Malachi Starks didn't fall to them, which is another reason why I had Atlanta actually trade up for him. I really do not think Starks will fall past the Dolphins. I really don't. I don't see a world where that's possible. So I am going to actually give the Dolphins. I'm actually going to give them offensive tackle Josh Simmons out of Ohio State. Now, I know it says that they need interior O-line more than, tackles, but let's be honest, that offensive line as a whole really hasn't been as good since Robert Hunt left. And that includes the tackles. I think you just got to get just the best lineman possible right there. And for that situation, I think that's Josh Simmons. I almost said Justin Simmons. That's totally different player altogether. Josh Simmons right there. I think it makes the most sense. Colts are also in a tough spot because obviously Tyler Warren isn't on the board anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and actually go a different route for them. I'm going to actually have them take My number two pure edge rusher in the draft, in Mike Green. Really, I have him rated number two behind Abdul Carter. And the reason I say pure edge rusher is because, like, yeah, I have Jalen Walker graded just a little bit higher than him, but I don't think Walker's going to be like a full time edge in the league. I really don't. He's gonna be bouncing around and playing different spots on the defense. And so Mike Green, I would say, is my number two actual edge rusher here. So for the Chicago Bears, they still take, best running back in the draft, Ashton Genty, while also recouping extra picks. This way, I feel like they're in a spot that they don't really feel like they took running back too early in the draft. They got extra value. I think it just makes a lot of sense. I mean, I've said before, I'll keep saying it. They've got Ben Johnson now. If they were willing to draft Jahmyr Gibbs at pick 12, I think it was pick 12. Yeah, yeah. With the Lions, why wouldn't he take Genty right here for a team that needs a running back? And this is a guy that I know we use the term generational very, very loosely, but I mean he's going to be a good running back for sure. So then for the Arizona Cardinals, I'm going to go ahead and have them take edge rusher James Pierce out of Tennessee. I I think I like Mykel Williams a little bit more than Pierce. But Pierce, I feel like, is more pro ready right now, isn't going to need as much time to develop. And I feel like the Cardinals are in kind of a situation that they really just want production early on. They've kind of missed on pass rushers lately with obviously BJ Ojolari, and I know he's had injury issues. But he hasn't really worked out. Obviously, Darius Robinson was that just last year? I think that might have just been last year. He hasn't really done a whole lot yet either. And they could still develop. I get that. But, I mean, I feel like James Pierce is probably more promising than any guy they have right now, so I think that makes most sense for him. For the Cincinnati Bengals, no, I was kind of debating here between two guys. I was debating between Mykel Williams and Walter Nolan. Honestly, part of me kind of leans Walter Nolan here, actually, because I mean they need pass rush help and run stopping help. And Walter Nolan is actually really solid at rushing the passer too. And obviously having a defensive tackle that good is going to help your run defense as well. I'm kind of leaning Walter Nolan. I think he's going to be really good. Yeah, I'm going to say Walter Nolan for the Bengals right here. For the Seahawks, I'm going to go ahead and go with... I'm going to have them take Armand Membu out of Missouri. Really, I feel like for the Seahawks, it's always going to be either Membu or Tyler Booker. I know fans have gotten angry before when I've had them take Tyler Booker. I don't understand why you'd be angry with that, because, I mean, Tyler Booker is just an absolute monster on the interior. He can move guys off the line of scrimmage and push them 5-6 yards downfield. Like, he's a monster. I think he's the best, interior lineman in this draft by a fair margin, actually. I really like Booker. I really do. I think for the Bucks, I'm gonna go ahead and have them take Mykel Williams right here. I don't think Williams is gonna fall past this point, and really I don't even know if he falls to this point. Um, I think it just makes too much sense for Tampa where they need some pass rush help here. For the Broncos, I'm gonna go and have them take. I'm gonna actually have them take tight end Colston Loveland right here. Normally, right here, I'd have them take Luther Burden. Gonna switch it up today and have them take Loveland. I think that's another situation that really depends on what free agency looks like. Because, I mean, you could see the Broncos maybe go after a guy like maybe Mike Gesicki. And if they do end up getting, a good player like that, maybe they lean receiver instead and go Luther Burden. Or even Emike Buka. That wouldn't be a bad pick either. I think really the Broncos have a few options right there. And free agency is going to kind of tell us which way they're going to go. For the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm going to go ahead and have them take Luther Burden right here. That's another situation that, Emike Egbuka also makes a ton of sense for them right there. Really just best receiver available, unless they're both off the board. And then, I don't know, maybe you take a swing on Matthew Golden. 21 might be a little rich for me, but anyways, for the Chargers, I'm actually not going to have them take Egbuka this time. I usually do. I think this time I'm actually going to go ahead and have them take edge rusher Shamar Stewart out of Texas A&M. I think Stewart's biggest issue is he has a hard time finishing a lot of reps. Like he gets pressure. He's able to push a lot of his opposing tackles back with a good bull rush, but he has a hard time actually finishing the rep and getting the sack, which, I mean, that's not always a bad thing because you can impact the pass a lot more than just getting sacks. Obviously the sack is like the end goal, but I mean, if you pressure the quarterback, you can force interceptions. If you can get close enough and get your hands up, you can, get past deflections. Like, Shamar Stewart's going to be good at that type of thing. And honestly, like, he kind of reminds me a lot of, like, a Jadeveon Clowney sort of guy that has also had an issue, like, finishing reps and getting the sack, but has been really good at getting pressures. And I think that's going to be valuable to really any team that drafts him. For the Green Bay Packers, I'm going to go ahead and have them take Jahdae Barron right here out of Texas. He's really the best corner available. That's not something I'm really going to debate. Like, obviously, Benjamin Morrison is really good as well. And really, I don't think him and Barron are that far apart. But I just think Barron plays a little more lockdown than Morrison does. For the Vikings right here, I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to go ahead and give them Benjamin Morrison. I'm not sure why he's so low on their board now. He definitely fell down the rankings. Yeah, they've got him below Revel right now. I don't understand that. I think he's quite a bit better than Revel. So yeah, I'm gonna go Benjamin Morrison to the Vikings right there. Just absolute beast. Texans, have them take Tyler Booker right here. I talked about Booker earlier. Just an absolute monster on the interior. I think the Texans would be just stupid to pass up on him. I don't think I really need to explain that one anymore. For the Rams, I'm going to go ahead and have them actually take their dream replacement for Cooper Kupp. And that's Emeka Egbuka. I think he could come in and be literally just an immediate, like, perfect replacement, like, without missing a beat. Not necessarily saying he's going to come in and like immediately produce like, say like 2021 Cooper Cup, but he can come in and make some noise. I think that's a really really good system for him to come into right away. I think Sean McVay does really really good with slot receivers like that. For the Baltimore Ravens, I'm going to go ahead and give them. I think I'm actually going to give them Gray Zabel. Zabel can honestly play guard or tackle. I think he's probably going to end up playing more guard in the league. He's listed as an interior lineman, but if the Ravens were to decide that they needed help more at tackle, he's flexible enough he can play tackle at a high level. He's just aggressive, just mean off the line. I think he's going to be a monster. I really do. For the Lions, going to go ahead and have them take Jack Sawyer out of Ohio State. This kind of been just an easy pick for them. Really in my last like 4 or 5 mock drafts. I've explained that I think he's very similar to Aiden Hutchinson. Obviously not going to come in and produce like Aiden Hutchinson. You can't expect that sort of thing. But they've got pretty similar traits, pretty similar like mechanics and how they rush the passer. And I mean, him learning from Hutchinson, I think is going to do him a lot of good. I really do. For the Commanders, I'm going to go ahead and have them take Matthew Golden out of Texas. Just get some real wide receiver help right there. Bills on the board, and super easy pick, Kenneth Grant. I'm surprised he even fell this far. I mean, I've seen hype for him as high as like top 12. I've heard. Now I want to clarify here. I don't agree with this, but I've heard people saying, they think he's better than Mason Graham. I disagree. Mason Graham is by a pretty long shot the best D tackle in this class, but Kenneth Grant is a beast. All right, he really is. I wouldn't be shocked to see him go top like 17, 18 sort of thing. So, Bills get a steal right here. Chiefs on the board, and I'm going to go ahead and have them take Josh Connerly out of Oregon. And then Eagles on the board, and I'm going to go ahead and give them Jahad Campbell. I've already explained that pick in really my last several mock drafts. Very similar to Jalen Walker. Better in pass coverage, not quite as good in like pass rushing. Honestly, pretty similar player to Zach Bond. So, again, if they were to lose Zach Bond in free agency, they have a good replacement there. And even if not, even if they do bring him back, why not have 2 Zach Bonds? I think he's going to come in and be a fun player for that defense. All right, so the Browns are back on the board. Sorry, guys, I had to take a little bit of a break after the first round. My throat was kind of hurting me from all of the constant talking right there. For the Browns, I'm actually going to have them take a swing on a quarterback right here and have them take Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss. I think makes a lot of sense where they're kind of in a tough quarterback spot right now already. I think it just makes too much sense right there. For the Giants, I'm kind of debating on maybe having them take a swing on Jalen Milroe right here. I like the idea of it, but I don't know for sure if this is a little bit too high. I don't know, because I don't know if he's going to fall to 65, to be honest. I don't know. Maybe you could consider like taking best player available right here, and then maybe using pick 65 and something else to trade up for Milrow. Because I mean, like you look at the next few picks, like Tennessee already drafted a quarterback. Jags have their quarterback. Raiders have theirs with Shador Sanders. Obviously, Patriots and Bears have theirs. Um, I don't know. Maybe I think pick 40. I think is the Saints. So maybe you could worry about the Saints maybe getting him right there. Um, okay, this is probably going to be considered a reach for the Giants, but to take a swing on their quarterback, I think it's worth a second rounder. We'll go Jalen Milrow out of Alabama. Um, yeah, again, you can't really guarantee that he falls past New Orleans right there. If he does, then sure, maybe you could wait a little bit longer and trade up, but where there's no guarantees right there, you don't really want to miss out and really risk being in a rough spot for no quarterback right there. For the Tennessee Titans, I'm gonna go ahead and give them. Let's see. Call me crazy here. I don't entirely love their running back situation. I really don't. Um, I've always thought Tony Pollard was like he's solid, but he's I dare I say mediocre in my opinion. I'm gonna go ahead and actually have the Titans take Omarion Hampton right here. Titans fans, let me know what you think of that in the comments section. I'm a little curious what you guys think. Um, I think it's a good pick. I really do. Um, I think Tony Pollard is serviceable, but maybe I don't know, maybe a little bit too mediocre for my liking. I think if they really want to fix that offense, they got to get a better running game too. So for the Jags, I'm gonna go ahead and get them. Let's see. There's really no like super worth it receivers available right here. Um, I mean, the best receivers available are Trey Harris and Isaiah Bond. Um, but Elick Aomanor is solid as well. I don't like him as I don't like him at pick 36 though. That's definitely too rich for my liking. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually go. I think I'm gonna go ahead and actually get them Donovan Jackson, um, guard to fix up the O line a little bit. It did seem like Trevor Lawrence was getting hit way too much this last season, and simply Donovan Jackson can help with that quite a bit. So, Raiders on the board. I'm actually going to go ahead and get them. Um, I'm going to give them Travion Henderson as well. Um, I've mentioned before, Pete Carroll loves having a really good running back. He loves the running game, and I mean Henderson's a good running back. I mean, this is a good running back class. It really is. Um, I think he makes a lot of sense for that sort of situation. So for the Patriots, and guys, I think I'm actually gonna run through the rest of these picks a little bit quicker. I think I'm spending too much time on each pick now, so gonna run through them quicker. Not gonna take too much time to explain them unless there's something in particular I want to explain about a prospect. Um, for the Patriots, I'm just gonna give them Nick Scorton. I think that pass rush makes sense. Bears, I think we go Arion to Ursery. Definitely between Ariante Ursary and Cam Williams. Um, if you want, you could even go one of them right now and potentially the other one at 41, assuming the Saints don't get him, which actually he might. I'm going to go Ariante Ursary right here. Um, for the Saints, actually, yeah, I actually do think I want to give them Cam Williams. Um, yeah, some real offensive line help right there. I think for the Bears back on the clock, we'll go ahead and give them. I'm going to give them Tyleek Williams, actually, out of Ohio State. I think he's a really good fit there. Jets on the board now. Going to go ahead and give them defensive tackle Derek Harmon out of Oregon. Niners on the clock, and I'm going to go with Princely Umanmielen. I can never pronounce his last name. I think he's the best edge rusher available right here. Dallas. Dallas fans might hate me for this one, for not getting them a running back. I'm going to go Nick Emenwari. I freaking love Nick Emenwari. I think he's an absolute beast. And as I was saying before, like, with getting Will Johnson, you also throw in Nick Emenwari in that secondary. I mean, that is going to be a good secondary for really a long time. A lot of years to come. For the Colts, I'm going to go ahead and give them Elijah Arroyo out of Miami right here. Falcons, and I'm going to go ahead and give them JT Tumalau. Cardinals are up, and I think we give them... We'll actually give them Trey Harris out of Ole Miss. Miami's up, and I think we go ahead and give them a safety now. We'll go ahead and give them Xavier Watts out of Notre Dame. Cincinnati's on the board now. Now they can take their edge rusher in Donovan Iziraku. Seahawks on the board, and we'll go ahead and give them... I think I want to give them... I don't know, 50 might be a little bit rich for Landon Jackson, in my opinion here. You know what? Let's really just make sure that O-line is cleaned up, and we'll get them Jonah Savinea. Then really they'll have no excuses for the offensive line. Like, I think we've seen several times in the league that if you clean up the offensive line and really get some good protectors back there, it's going to be significantly better. It really is. Denver on the board. We'll get them their running back in Quinshon Judkins. Pittsburgh. We'll get them... I'm going to give them Alfred Collins, actually. He's a guy I actually kind of wanted to fall to the Panthers right here, but obviously not the case in this one. Bucks on the board, and I'm going to go ahead and get them Siobhan Revel. I think 53 is far enough for him to fall. Packers, I think I'm going to go ahead and have them take Darius Alexander out of Toledo. Chargers up now, and I'm going to get them Isaiah Bond. I actually really, really like the fit with him and Justin Herbert. I think that's a really, really good-looking fit. For the Bills, I think Landon Jackson would be a good fit for them. So, Carolina Panthers on the board now. Really, like, I think they mainly need defense. I'm debating between Azareye'h Thomas and TJ Sanders. I think either one of them would be a phenomenal upgrade to that defense. I'm gonna go Azareye'h Thomas. We'll go best player available right here. Um, get a good corner alongside J.C. Horn. Texans on the board. We'll go T.J. Sanders right here because they do need D line. Ravens on the board. We'll go Trey Amos. Need some corner help there as well. Lions up, and call me crazy, but I'm gonna go ahead and give them Jalen Royals. I think that'll be a really, really solid wide receiver 3 for them. Commanders on the board. I think we go Shamar Turner. Right here. Bills up, and I'm going to give them Jaden Higgins. I really like Jaden Higgins. I think he's really going to be a really good possession type of receiver. Probably not a whole lot after the catch, but, really good at just, getting the ball and, securing the catch sort of thing. Chiefs, we're going to go Marcus Embo right here. Or Embo. I never know how the last name's pronounced. Philadelphia Eagles on the board, and I think we go... I think we probably go with... We'll go Deone Walker right here. Yeah, because I think there is a possibility that they may lose Milton Williams in free agency, and they're going to want someone to replace him. Giants up, and we'll go ahead and get their quarterback another weapon to go along with Malik Neighbors, and we'll get them Elik Eyomanor. Gosh, I cannot pronounce last names today. It's pretty ridiculous. Chiefs on the board now, and we'll go ahead and get the Travis Kelce replacement for, I don't know if it's going to be this year or next year, but Harold Fannin out of Bowling Green. Cleveland on the board, and we'll get them Maxwell Hairston. Get a good corner on that defense. Here we go with the Raiders, and honestly, guys, just keep building the offense. Honestly, make that offense as good as possible, and build the defense a little bit in free agency too. Let's go Jack Beck. Patriots. Let's finally get that offensive tackle for them and Wyatt Mealham. Jags on the board. We'll go Xavier Restrepo. Get that wide receiver for him now. For the Saints, I'm going to go ahead and give them... I'm actually going to give them Demetrius Knight out of South Carolina. Demario Davis is starting to get pretty old now. Still playing at a high level. I'm not dissing him at all, but I mean, when players start to get 35 or so, whether they're still playing at a high level or not, you gotta start looking for, their replacement, someone to grow behind them. So then Bears on the clock, their last pick of today, and I think we're gonna go ahead and give them... We'll give them Savion Williams, actually, out of TCU. I actually really like that fit. I think he's going to be a really, really good, gadget receiver sort of thing. And I think Ben Johnson's going to be able to do a lot with him. I really do. Raiders on the board. honestly, I'm kind of thinking Emory Jones right here. You could double up at receiver if you wanted and go Tez Johnson. But I think I'm actually going to go on the offensive line and go Emory Jones out of LSU. Yeah, I really like that. I think that's a solid draft for the Raiders. I really do. Panthers on the board. And I think, I'm going to get them a pure edge rusher right here in Kyle Kennard out of South Carolina. Niners on the board. So it's saying their top remaining need is tight end. I don't agree with that because, obviously they've got George Kittle. I could agree with linebacker though. Obviously they're in a situation that they probably are going to lose Dre Greenlaw in free agency, so all they'll have left is Fred Warner. I'm going to go Carson Schwessinger for him. So Panthers back on the board with their pick they got from Dallas, I believe. And I think right here, I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger here on Tez Johnson out of Oregon. Get them another weapon for Bryce. Patriots on the board, and I'm going to go ahead and give them... I'm going to get them actually Caleb Johnson out of Iowa. I really like the idea of, getting them a young, really, really talented running back right there. Because I feel like Ramondre Stevenson's just a little too inconsistent. Every once in a while he'll have a game or two that like, dang, this guy is good. And then he'll just completely fall off again a game or two later. I think Caleb Johnson's going to help that running game significantly, to be honest. So for the Cardinals, we'll go ahead and give them... Let's see. I'm going to give them Tate Ratledge out of Georgia. Really, really help that the interior of that offensive line. Commanders, will give them Mason Taylor, kind of the Zach Ertz replacement for... obviously they've still got him this year, I believe. I think he was on a multi-year contract. Anyways, even for when he leaves and everything, Mason Taylor can be, the future tight end of that franchise. Colts on the board here. I'm going to go ahead and get them... Let's see. What corners are available? Ooh, I like Denzel Burke. I am a big Denzel Burke fan. Get him. Bengals on the board, and I'm gonna get them. We'll go ahead and give them Darian Porter. We'll double up on corner right here. Darian Porter. Seattle on the board, and we'll go Josiah Stewart out of Michigan. Pittsburgh's up now, and we'll get them Dylan Sampson out of Tennessee. Finally get their running back. Under the assumption that they don't bring back Najee. So, Bucks on the board. Don't really love... I don't know, maybe you could take a swing on Barrett Carter. Yeah, we'll go ahead and give them Barrett Carter out of Clemson. I think that's a solid pick. Broncos on the board, and I'm actually going to go ahead and get them... I'm going to get them Jalen Noel out of Iowa State. Kind of their receiver pick since they didn't take Luther Burden earlier. Chargers on the board now. And what running backs are left? I don't like Cam Scatabo quite this early. I think he's like a fourth rounder for me. I think for the Chargers right here, we'll go ahead and give them. Let's go on the interior D line and we'll go Omar Norman Lott. That's kind of just, one of the best players available right there instead. Packers up now. I'm going to go Kevin Winston out of Penn State right here. Giants on the board. Give them a solid edge rusher right here in Jared Ivey. Texans up now. I'm actually going to go with tight end Gunnar Helm for them right here. For the Rams, we'll go. You know what? For the Rams, I'm actually going to go with Quinn Ewers out of Texas. Because obviously, they've got quarterback questions this year with potentially Matt Stafford. We don't know the situation there. Even if they have Matt Stafford this year, though, let Quinn Ewers sit for a year, potentially two. And hey, you've got, the next quarterback of your franchise. I really like Ewers. He just needs some time to sit. So, Ravens on the board, and I'm going to go ahead and give them Jordan Birch out of Oregon. Jets up now, and do we take a swing on quarterback for them too? We might. Yeah, let's take a swing on Dylan Gabriel, actually. I have him graded higher than Will Howard, so, that's why I'm not following, the exact list right here. I think Gabriel's a much better quarterback than Howard, actually. Just my opinion there. For the Saints, I'm going to give them Braden Swinson out of LSU. Another guy that I actually think should be graded higher than he really is for a lot of teams. Or really, sorry, for a lot of mock simulators like this. I don't really know where a lot of teams specifically have him graded. For the Browns, I'm going to go ahead and give them. Let's see. I'm actually going to give them Jordan Phillips out of Maryland. Chiefs on the board now, and I'm going to get them wide receiver. Do I want to give them Torrey Horton? Hold on. Let me see what other receivers are available before I. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we're going to give them Torrey Horton. Gosh, I can't talk right now. Eagles on the clock. And I'm going to be honest. I'm really intrigued by having them take Andrew Makuba right here. Because I know they've got C.J. Gardner-Johnson. But Makuba paired along with him. That is a fun defense. It already is. Don't get me wrong. I really like Makuba. I would say he's pretty easily the best player available right now. Let's go Makuba. Let's go Makuba right there. And that kind of sucks for the Vikings because they also need a safety, and he was right there, went the pick before him. Really, Malachi Moore is probably best safety available. I like him better than either of these other two safeties above him. 97 might be a little too rich for him, though. I think we go Anthony Belton out of NC State right here instead. For the Dolphins, let's go with. Let's go with Jared Wilson out of Georgia on the interior O-line. Niners back on the board. I think we'll go Joshua Farmer right here out of Florida State. Rams are up now. And I'm going to give them Dorian Strong, actually, out of Virginia Tech. And then last pick of this mock draft, I'm going to have the Detroit Lions take Zy Alexander out of LSU. So, yeah, that was long-winded. Sorry, that was a lot longer than I intended it to be. Some of those picks I didn't take a whole lot of time to explain, trying to make these videos a little bit shorter and easier for you guys to watch. So, bear with me on that. Again, guys, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Later.